let's just say whoever like is the coolest person in the world to you, let's say you go to interview them and let's say they say yes and like, yes, I'm coming. You had to be an energy match for that. Like they wouldn't have shown up if you didn't believe in yourself and your podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because them coming on your podcast is a manifestation of you believing your podcast is good. So even if they were supposed to come on, if you didn't believe your podcast was good, it wouldn't have happened. So it's like, it's not so black and white. It kind of intertwines together.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I feel like I do, like, back to what you were saying, like when you feel like a pull to something, it's like meant for you. Like I just always feel like I'm meant for something bigger. And right now that's what this feels like for me. But I don't know. I think mindset in just this type of like thinking and just tuning into like the neuro pathway thing, like it just makes more sense to me and feels more tangible than I don't know what other people believe in. And I think the people that are having a hard time believing or tuning into this type of thing, I think you should at least try it. I don't know. I have this like control problem where I'm like, you need to do this. You need to do this. Like, I promise you'll like it. And I know that that can also be like a problem because if I'm trying to get other people to believe something, it might mean that I don't fully believe it. I just feel like it's so convoluted. But anybody who's listening, if you feel like, I don't know, like really, what is something, let me just ask you, what is something that somebody can do like today to like shift their mindset? So it could be more like scientific or more of the woo-woo side of it. Like what would you tell people who are listening?
Totally. Yeah. First of all, I used to make fun of this stuff. Like, I mean, I always was able to like channel and intuitive read, but the feel the energy and the thing, I used to like literally laugh out loud. So I get it, because also the mainstream media, this is, people don't want you to know your power. So they will make you think certain things are crazy, you're not true when they're very true. What I have to say is think about anything like this water bottle I'm holding. Everything in this physical universe had to start out as a thought. Someone had to have the idea to make this water bottle, call it Fiji, put this pink flower on it, have this design, put the water that's from the Fiji, wherever it's from, Fiji, in it, right? So it all started out with a thought. Someone was on a walk one day, whatever they were doing, they were like, oh my God, Fiji, water bottle. It's a thought, okay? Then now I'm holding this physical thing that the thought started. It has manifested to a physical thing. Every physical thing in this universe, this desk, this shirt, your glasses, your desk, everything started out as someone having a thought. They put it on paper, they got it designed, they got it manufactured, and now it's a physical thing. So everything in your life that is in your physical reality, that is physically manifested in your reality, started out as a thought. And the thought, then you had more thoughts about that thought. And now our brain likes things that are familiar. So now we're having more and more and more thoughts about that initial thought. And now we've had that thought so many times, it's built a neural pathway. Now it's a belief. Now this is what we believe to be true about our life. Now the belief's getting proved back to us because nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Whatever we believe to be true is what's going to happen. You hear it all the time. People believe they have to work really, 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 really hard to make a lot of money. And then people believe they can just like fucking do not that much to make a lot of money. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. They're both making a lot of money. Which one do you want to be, right? Which belief do you want to have? So we have this then belief and it engrades and then it becomes a knowing. When it's a knowing, the knowing either fucks us or it helps us big time. It depends on what the knowing is, right? So we have this knowing of like, I know this is how my life goes. I know this is how it is. And then that's what happens. Whatever our internal map of reality is 100% what happens externally. If you're really critical of yourself, you're always beating yourself up. You think you're too ugly, too fat, too this, too that. You're not this enough. You're not funny enough. You're not creative enough. Nothing's ever enough. Then you start to wonder, why is everyone so mean to me? Why are people so judgmental of me? Why are people so critical of me? Well, because you're being critical of yourself. So you're now going to be an energy match to be around people who are also critical of themselves and project it, but you're an energy match to be around them and they're projecting it onto you. if you weren't critical of yourself, you wouldn't even be an energy match to be around them. You'd be an energy match to be around people who aren't critical about themselves, therefore will also not be critical to others. So everything in this universe starts out as a thought, and then it, domino effects into our reality, into physical things in our life.
That's so cool. I really I love this stuff so much, so I could just listen to you talk all day. So
I
do
love
you
it.
think
We're in the right place together.
I love it. And so we kind of touched on this, like changing jobs and everything like teaches you something, but do you think that we have to have an idea of what we want? Or like, what if somebody really doesn't know what they want?
Yeah, good. Focus on how you want to feel. I actually never focus on physical things I want, because our human brain can't even fathom some of the physical things that our soul has for us or that we have, right? So, and we never even want the thing we want, how we think it's going to make us feel. So, focus on how you want to feel in your life, in whatever area it is that you're feeling pulled to focus on. Break it down to areas of your life, like career, money, family, socially, relationships, health, whatever it is. Break it down to an area. And how do you, in your ideal world, people's judgments weren't a thing, your limitations of your beliefs weren't a thing, how do you desire to feel in this area? Write it down, get really, really clear. And then from there, just every day, you have to learn with yourself, right? It's just a learning process with yourself. Oh, today, how can I feel that way today? Right? So if someone's wanting a hot man to come be a hot man and masculine and commit to them and all these things, okay, how would having that make you feel? Oh, I'd feel nurtured, I'd feel loved, I'd feel valued, I'd feel like a sexy hot babe, whatever these things are. Okay, how can you go make yourself feel like a sexy hot babe today? Like, do you need to go on a walk? Do you need to go listen to Megan Trainor? Do you need to go to a whatever? What do you need to do? What do you need to do? Right? Do you need to go meditate? Do you need to go take a strip dancing class? I don't know. What do you need to do? Do you need to go dance to Buttons by the Pussycat Dolls? Because I love doing that. So what is going to make you feel that way today? Okay, you need to be you want to feel nurtured. How can you nurture yourself today? Do you want to lay under a blanket? Do you want to meditate? Do you want to go to a spa? What do you need to do to nurture yourself today? And just day by day, start to give yourself those feelings. And then more and more, you're going to start to discover what you want and what feels good and what doesn't. So it's a discovery process with yourself, essentially, of just breaking it down to feelings. You don't have to know what it looks like. It's actually better if you don't know what it looks like. That way you can't chokehold something and that's never good.
Right.
So how do you want to feel? And make it, it's not, we overcomplicate, all of us do overcomplicate this shit. Really, how do you want to feel? Feel those feelings now. If you are doing the things that bring you those feelings, keep doing it. If you do the things that are not bringing you the feelings, stop doing them. And just go day by day like that. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And you'll get more and more clear on what that looks like for you every day of doing that.
Yeah. I appreciate your answers because they're I feel like they make sense to even people who aren't really familiar with all of this. So there is one thing though that I don't know if this is too complicated, but how would you explain energy? Because we keep saying energy match, or I've heard some crazy things about how you can think something about somebody else and then they reach out to you. Do you how strong is energy, and why it's hard to even formulate a question.
Yeah. So think about it like this. Have you, and you, everyone listening, have you ever walked into a room and you looked at someone and you just knew something about them? Whether they were struggling in life, you could just feel they were struggling, or you knew that they weren't going to be maybe the nicest, or you knew that whatever it was. And then you ended up figuring out that was true, that what you knew was true. It's happened to everyone. Everyone I've ever asked this, they're like, oh my God, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's energy. And I won't go into all the crazy science behind it, because me saying big words isn't gonna do any, I don't care to like prove energy by using big words. You can feel it, and that's what it is. If you walk into a room and you just see someone and you just know maybe you're not going to vibe with them, and then you don't, that's what happens. Or you see someone you're not going to vibe with them, you become friends with them, and you're like, oh, that's weird, I was off. A year or two later, you're not vibing with them, you were still right. So we've all had those experiences, and that's what it is. And everyone has the ability to train themselves to read it, and to read it really good. It's just like another language. Anyone has the ability to learn another language and to use it and to get really good at it. It's just the language of the universe, the language of our soul. And energy always speaks louder than words. So have you ever had something and you're like, oh, I just can't explain it. Like I just feel this thing and I can't explain it. It's an energy. You can't, there's so much, it's so much louder than words, and there's not many words to describe certain energies that you feel. And that's what that is.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That's a really easy thing again that people can figure out. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, I feel like we've all had that situation where it's like a vibe. Like, the vibes are off. Like, that's what people say all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
Or if
Yeah.
you like, or if you're, let's say you're moving and you're going to different houses, and you get in one house and you just feel it. It feels heavy. You might get a pit in your stomach. You might feel nauseous. It just feels like, something's off. You go in another house, your body lights up. You feel expansive. You feel excited. You feel open. That's the house for you. It's an energy. It's just, everyone feels it. And whether they, want to admit it or not, you can feel it. And I think sometimes there's different types of teachings on this for everyone, right? There's a teachings where we get really, really up here and more in our higher chakras, a little more heady, where we are saying words and saying these things in a way that maybe people more grounded are like, the fuck are you saying, right? And then there's ways to explain it that are from a grounded in your lower chakras kind of way. It's all the same thing. It's just getting explained in different ways.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I'm writing like so many questions, but so let me just ask, like, this question just came up. So we're kind of switching gears a little bit. How quickly, because I think one of the reasons things feel like they're not manifesting is because it takes time. So for example, I feel like, okay, is this pushback because I need to get through it? Like it's meant to like really challenge you, or is it because it's not for you? Like when somebody's looking for a job in like corporate America and they're like, I keep getting denied. Like, is it just not for me? Or does it all just go back to like that feeling that you have and like what you believe you is for you? Because sometimes, and I guess this is just a limiting belief, I feel like I'm wrong, or like I'm not on the right track. Like who says that I should believe what I'm thinking? I don't know.
Good. Okay, so I had asked this a lot, and it's not so black and white, but to make it simple for like 98% of the time of these kinds of situations, if something keeps not happening for you, if you're getting triggered, if it's hitting an emotional wound, it's a reflection, and you have to stay and you have to heal and push through it, and then you will get the thing that you want. If something's not happening for you, but each time it doesn't happen, you feel like neutral or almost kind of glad it didn't happen, then that was divine protection. So, for example, I moved from LA to Dallas in July 2021, I believe. And I was trying to move 6 months earlier and trying to break my lease at my loft in LA. And I was trying to move to Dallas earlier. It wasn't fucking working. Like I couldn't break my lease. The apartment over here, like they were being weird because I ran my own business and they weren't like believing me with my like pay stubs I was showing them. And it was like block after block after block after block after block. So, but I didn't feel triggered. It wasn't bringing up an emotional wound. It wasn't making me feel anything. I almost felt like, okay, I felt this feeling of like, this is actually good. Like it just felt very neutral. Like, okay, I get it. That was very much divine protection because I had to be in LA 6 more months because I met someone who was like essential in my career then. And I then my relationship with my boyfriend got stronger because we did long distance